Blah, 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 blah. Hey everybody, Dave Ryder from UnderConstructionLive.com. You know, the other day I was killing some time on YouTube, and I happened to come across some videos on crown molding installation. And I was surprised at the number of hits that they had gotten. And I was also surprised at how little information there was, or correct information. I've been doing carpentry work for over 25 years, and I've installed hundreds of feet of crown. And I thought I'd put together a little video here, and it's going to concentrate on the actual cutting or coping of the crown mold. So it's going to be real short, but there'll be a lot of good information. Well, the first step is, and I'm going to assume you've already done this, is you've cut your crown mold for an inside corner. And all you need is a coping saw, a pencil, and some sort of clamp. However you want to clamp it is up to you. It's easiest to cut the cope on the crown mold if you have it clamped securely onto a surface. The other thing is you kind of cut it or you cope it at kind of a comfortable angle to you. If you're right-handed, left-hand copes are easier to do than right-hand copes. And when you clamp your board, you want to kind of have it at a little bit of an angle. So let me go ahead and get this clamped up. Okay, so we got our board clamped up. You can see that it's projecting about, maybe a foot past the end of the bench there. And if you were working on workhorses, same thing. And you can see that the board is actually skewed a little bit at about a 45-degree angle to the position you're going to be in when you're standing to cut the cope. Now, the pencil, and I'm sure you've seen this before, is to darken the edge. And all you do is you take your pencil and just rub it right on that edge. And all it helps to do is define the actual cut line. Alright, the first series of cuts are going to be just simply some straight cuts. And these are basically relief cuts so that when you are doing your cope, the piece falls out upon completion of the cut. And I'll go ahead and make these cuts. It doesn't matter which ones get done first. The important thing is that you are back cut sufficiently that the piece is going to fall out. Now you notice that I've essentially completed my cut, but I'm giving it a few extra strokes back in there to make sure that it's back cut enough. The second cut is this straight here, and I'm trying to stay out of the way of the camera. I don't know what it's going or what it's showing. And once again, I take a few extra strokes in the back just to make sure that I'm undercut enough. Now the final cut is cutting off this point, and I'm actually cutting it off square. And I'll try to show this to you if I can. There's the crown mold. Let's see if we're in frame. Okay. What I'm actually cutting off is that top part there, and you can see I've made a line there just so that you can see that. Normally I don't even bother putting a line there. So let's go ahead and get that cut. Alright, this is the third and final cut. Just knock it off. So I noticed on a couple of the other videos that a couple people asked to see what's the back look like. And here you go, this is the back. Now, these are the 3 cuts I made, 1, 2, 3, and you can see that they're a little deeper than they need to be. Mostly that was just because I wanted to make sure I made them deep enough being on camera. Normally they would probably only be back in here someplace, 3/4 of an inch, an inch in. Alright, so here's my pieces. Now, I always start down here, and I start by using my finger as a guide and get the saw started, and then I work my way back cutting until I come perpendicular to the face of the molding, and then I make my cut. And I am cutting the black line. I am trying not to cut any of the white. There you go, first cut. It helps if you think of your coping saw not so much as a saw, but almost like a file. Now, my second cut is here, but you're going to see me actually start the saw in the back of the wood before I ever start cutting the front of the wood, because I want to get my saw lined up. Coping saws are notorious for not being able to cut a straight line. Thank goodness crown mold doesn't have any straight lines on it. So I go ahead and I get my saw started. And I haven't even cut the front yet, but my saw is embedded. Let me show you what that looks like in the back. Now what you see is the next cut has been established, and this is the cut. So my saw is where it needs to be, and it has not yet started cutting the front. Okay, so here we go. A good thing to remember about round profiles or radius profiles like we have here in this French curve here, or the crown mold, is that the more horizontal the radius is, the more you have to back cut it. The more vertical, like this section in here, the less you have to back cut it. And then once again, this is more horizontal. Actually, this is very horizontal, and this cut here needs to be paper thin, as does this be cut here, because when you look at it up on ceiling in place, these are essentially horizontal. Let's see, I'm trying to stand so that you can see what I'm doing. So I got my saw cut. It's cutting very much at a back cut. As I start getting into a more vertical area, I will lessen my cut. Do this one-handed. As I go back to a more horizontal part of the profile, I increase my back cut. Now I'm going to stop right there and turn it over, let you see what it looks like.